Knowing how lenders calculate rents for DSCR loans is extremely important so that you can do your due diligence and research upfront before you start paying for fees like inspections and appraisals, and just so you don't spend a lot of time, money, and energy on the property. So let's talk about how rents are calculated. First, we need to know the following. Is this going to be a purchase transaction or a refinance? If it's going to be rented on a long-term basis, so leases that are 12 months or longer, or is it going to be a vacation or a short-term rental? Does it have a current lease in place or is it vacant? Current leases in place, typically you need to have at least 2 months of rent payments that we can actually show that have been deposited on time. And then if it is a vacation rental or short-term rental, does it have 12 months history? Now, if it's going to be leased on a long-term basis for both purchase and refinance transactions, what their lender is going to use is the lower of the lease agreement or 100% of the market rent in most cases. And this comes from the Form 1007 that's done by the appraiser, and that's what they'll use to determine the DSCR. Now, some lenders will use the lease even if it is greater than what the market rents are from the actual appraiser, but that's lender to lender, and sometimes an exception needs to be made. So make sure that you ask that up front to the lender or the broker that you're working with. Now, if the property is vacant, 100% of the market rents may be utilized on a purchase transaction. Now, if you plan on renting the property on a short-term basis and it does have 12 months history, then for both purchase and refinance transactions, the lender will use 100% of the income documented by 12 months history of deposits from eligible sources like Airbnb or VRBO. Now, some lenders do take out 20% for being able to run the short-term rental. So again, it's important that you ask these questions up front so that you know that the property ratios before you start spending time and money in the inspections and the appraisals. Now, if there is no short-term rental history, then most lenders are going to use 75% of the market rent that comes from the appraisal form, the 1007 or 1025, to be able to determine the DSCR. Now, the appraiser is required to use short-term rental properties in the comparable analysis, or we can also have AirDNA rentalizer reports used to be able to document the short-term potential rental income. However, to be able to use AirDNA, you must meet certain requirements, and only some lenders allow for AirDNA. Now, to be able to use AirDNA, first of all, this is only on purchase transactions. The forecast period must cover 12 months from the note date. The occupancy rate for most lenders is above 60%. Some require 65% or greater. And then you must have 3 comparable properties all within the same zip code. Some lenders do require 5 comparable properties. And the market grade by zip code must be a B or greater. And then the income calculation is the annual revenue divided by 12. And then again, some lenders take out 20% for the high cost of running a short-term rental. Now, if you do not have AirDNA, but you do have properties that you want to see if the AirDNA will ratio out, you can email me with the scenario to trevor@harborfunding.group or text or call me with the scenario at 619-404-6637. Or bottom right hand corner, you can scan this QR code and schedule a time to speak with me. I can go through any options, answer all your questions, and I can actually send you back the AirDNA report and let you know if I think that property will work or not. So if you want to have any properties reviewed, go ahead and reach out to me, and I would love to work with you and make sure that you're putting yourself in the best position when it comes to your next investment property.